This is Honors Geometry Lesson 3.3, Proving Lines Parallel. So in Lessons 3.1 and 3.2, we talked about pairs of angles given two parallel lines. So if we were given two parallel lines cut by a transversal, we said that alternate interior angles are congruent. We said that alternate exterior angles are congruent. We said that corresponding angles are congruent. Let's see, we'll go here and here. Oops. And then we said consecutive interior angles are supplementary. Now we're going to use the converse of that. We're going to go backwards. We're going to say if those angles are congruent or supplementary, then we know for sure that the lines are parallel. So we're just going to use that same idea but go backwards. So let's try some. So just as a reminder, again, we have four choices. We have to know that alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, or corresponding angles are congruent. Or we can say that consecutive interior angles are supplementary. If we have one of those four items, then we know for sure that the lines are parallel. So the first exercise is, can you prove the lines A and B are parallel? So let's see. Looks like we have alternate exterior angles are congruent, so we would say yes, because alternate exterior angles are congruent. We call that the alternate exterior angle converse. When you're using them to prove that the lines are parallel, that's the converse. Number 4, it looks like they give us corresponding angles are congruent, so that's the corresponding angle converse. And number 5, it's telling us angles 1 and 2 have a sum of 180. But wait a second, those are alternate interior angles. They should be supplementary. So we're going to say that no, we can't prove it. They would need to tell us that those are congruent, not supplementary. So that one's going to be a no. All right. Let's go ahead and prove that if we know that alternate interior angles are congruent, then we know that those lines are parallel. So of course we start with our given. We're given that angles 4 and 5 are congruent, so that's our given. And then next step 2 says that angles 1 and 4 are congruent. 1 and 4 it looks like it doesn't come from step 1, so let's go back to the diagram. I can see right here angles 1 and 4 are vertical angles. We now know that vertical angles are congruent. We call that the vertical angle congruence theorem. It's not definition of vertical angles. Definition of vertical angles doesn't say they're congruent, but the vertical angle congruence theorem does. Now step 3 does look like it comes from steps 1 and 2. Boom, right there. It looks like they use the transitive property, or again, you can call that substitution. And then finally from step 3 to step 4, that's one of our reasons. We know that if corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel, so that's the CA converse. And that was a postulate we used to prove the theorem. All right, next thing it says, find the value of x that would make the lines parallel. So if the lines were parallel, what would the value of x be? So we're going to say that 3x equals 120. Divide each side by 3, it looks like x is going to be 40. Let's try number 5. These are CIAs, consecutive interior angles. We know they have a sum of 180. So we're going to say 3x minus 15 plus 150 equals 180. I'm going to combine my like terms together. It looks like 150 minus 15 is going to give us 135 equals 180. Subtract 135 from 180, looks like it's going to give us 45. Divide by 3, it looks like that's going to be 15. All right, let's try another one. It says, is there enough information to prove M and N are parallel? So again, we have our four choices, CA, AIA, AEA, or those are all congruent, or CIA are supplementary. So we're looking for one of those four things. Looks like on number 10, they gave us alternate interior angles. So we're going to use alternate interior angle converse. Looks like 11, they give us alternate exterior, so that's AEA, converse. Number 12 doesn't even look like it makes sense. They're telling us an acute angle is congruent to an obtuse angle. That doesn't even make sense. We don't have a name for those pairs of angles, so we're just going to say no, we don't have enough information to prove. Number 13, there's our good old corresponding angles, and we're going to say converse again. Number 14, those look like vertical angles. They surely are congruent, that's true, but that's not enough information to prove that the lines are parallel. It doesn't even touch line N. So we're going to say nope, not on that one, not enough information. And then finally, number 15, those look like alternate exterior angles. So that's the AEA converse. They threw another transversal in there to try to trick us, but it has nothing to do with it. We're still trying to prove that lines M and N are parallel. One last quick thing I want to talk about, it's called the transitive property of parallel lines. If you remember transitive property, if A equals B and B equals C, then we know that A equals C. It's the same thing for parallel lines. If line 1 is parallel to line 2 is parallel to line 3, then we know for sure that line 1 is parallel to line 2. Please try the homework exercises. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.